big welcome indeed to all our viewers on Times TV and of course also our listeners on Times Radio. This is this week's edition of Hot Current with me, Wezi Kasambala, and of course I'm joined by the Times Group Editor-in-Chief, and we're going to sizzle together. George Kasakula is in the studios with me. As you know, this program is all about holding people to account, holding institutions to account, dissecting the real issues, getting to the heart of the matter, the bottom of the matter. George, you might want to remind our programs in a bit more detail why we do this, why we sit here and talk at length.
Thanks, Wes. If there's a program that some people deliberately try to misinterpret and misunderstand and try to pile things on the program that are not even considered, the program again, you know. Hot Current zolinga zake ndi kumanga Malawi, kumanga mtundu, building the nation, building a Malawi that we all want. How do we hope to achieve this? We hope to achieve this by giving feedback to our leaders. Our leaders are doing so many things on our behalf. Wherever they go on our behalf. So it's only right kuti feyo ngati Malawi, ngati enaga Malawi. So simply put, it is a program that endeavors to give feedback to our leaders for the sake of not just like some people would like to say. No, the idea is to peleke feedback because timakhulupirira kuti atsogolera athu salamulira mabanja okha, salamulira nduna zawo zokha, salamulira mizi yawo yokha, amalamulira Amalawi tonse. So nichofunika kuti ife Amalawi tiziyauza kuti mapanga zabwino kapena nzoyipa, kuti timange mtundu wokoma, kuti we should build a Malawi that is working for everybody, not just the few connected elites.
Okay, Chabwino, I'm glad you've said that because there is also a conception out there, or perception rather, that it's a personal vendetta against government, especially on your part, George Kasakula. There are quarters who feel that you sit here and you come in rearing to go on the offensive, clearly wanting to just attack government and President Peter Mutharika.
Not at all. Very, very far away from the truth. That's not true. I have nothing personal against the president. I have nothing personal against any cabinet minister.
And the DPP.
And the DPP, I have nothing personal against them. All I'm doing is to exercise my right as a citizen to talk about the issues that matter.
Albeit louder than most.
Yes, because I have a chance. I have a chance. Yes. I mean, I have a chance. I'm sure there are people out there who can even do it better than me. Who can give this feedback to government better than me. But because that chance, that responsibility has fallen on my shoulders, that's why I do it. If I do it forcibly or what, it's because I'm passionate about some of the things. I mean,
so you wouldn't agree even just a little bit that sometimes in the heat of the moment, you do get rather taken by the emotions of these issues and sometimes do get a bit personal?
I don't regret the emotions. I don't regret the fact that sometimes I can take it personal with the president, for example, or with any minister. Honorable Dawes, for example, he comes here, we slug it out.
I saw you last week.
We slug it out one-on-one with a referee in between here. I don't regret that. The reason is because I'm passionate about this country. And sometimes the anger that I display it on behalf of people. Actually, some people say, we Malawians, the problem with Malawians is Citibank display anger on some of the issues that are happening. For example, 4.4 billion waja lost in nothing. People are abusing it. It's your tax. It's my tax.
Would you
it's
say,
people's
George,
tax. Yes.
Would you say that the majority of Malawians are actually behind you? When you sit here with me, for example,
yes,
and we talk about these issues, do you think we have a large following of people who share the same sentiments as you and I?
One or two don't agree with me, obviously. So, looking at the kind of feedback that I get, either through personal interaction or through email and what have you, or through phone calls, I can say with confidence that the majority of people, the ones that I speak to,
the majority of those you talk to,
I talk to, agree with me. I could get one phone call or two angry ones.
You don't think they're just stroking your ego?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I think those that I speak to, those that I speak to, really, you know,
they're sincere.
Yes, they're sincere. They care about this country.
Okay.
When you listen to them, when they talk with passion to say, those are the things that we must tell this government. Not because we hate it, but because we want it to change.
All right.
Yes.
Chabwino. So you've clearly outlined why we do this program. Hopefully our listeners and our viewers understand why we sit here at length. You probably think, gosh, these people talk and talk and talk, and they just enjoy the sound of their own voices.
Somebody told me in the first, you talk too much.
I don't want to know.
You talk too much. I don't know.
All right. Let's get to the heart of the matter. Today, George, we're talking about when arrogance and impunity reign. Now, this comes off the back of recent developments. You remember some couple of weeks ago, the DPP, or the Democratic Progressive Party, which is the ruling party, in case you live under a rock, held what they call their Blue Night.
Yes.
A celebration of pomp and glamour, etc.,
yes,
etc.
Wining and dining.
Wining and dining, as
eating
George.
of champagne glasses.
And
caviar. Eating of
perhaps.
caviar, perhaps. I don't know whether it was there on the menu.
Yes, it may have been beluga caviar even. But the point is, they held a Blue Night, and then we later learned, as the Times Group, and in fact we carried these stories on our electronic platforms as well as in our papers, we found out that actually they had even compelled, perhaps that's a politically correct term, compelled city councils to contribute towards these celebrations. And then of course we find that highly offensive and highly unconstitutional. So now we want to understand why the DPP think this is okay, particularly when we question them. And even Dr. Heatherway Kintaba, who is the chair, or rather the center vice president for the central region in the DPP, even said this was rubbish when he was asked to actually give back the money that was put towards these parastatals. Now, George thinks this is all a sense of arrogance. So let's start there, George. The issues.
Yes.
The DPP, in your view, continue to ransack parastatals,
yes,
as we've clearly outlined.
Yes.
And
Blue Night.
Blue Night is a very good example.
Yes.
You believe that state companies such as Longwater Board,
yes,
MACRA,
yes,
Roads Authority, etc.,
yes,
all were involved in funding
yes,
the Blue Night.
Yes, that's right. Look, you've outlined the issues very well. It's something that took place 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, but its ripples continue to affect us. We have a situation where we have a government and a party on one side thinking that there's nothing wrong in them asking these parastatals and state companies to go to their Blue Night to fundraise. Basically, it's a fundraiser for the party, isn't it? They want to have some running money for the party. So what do? They have concocted what they call Blue Nights, and then people come, they buy tables. I'm told the cheapest one is 500,000.
Wow!
But so
it's clearly something for the elite.
It's clearly something for the elite. Yeah. That's why they go to these parastatals. Now we have two issues. There is the side of the party saying those of us that are demanding accountability, we are being called names. You talked to Dr. Ntaba, who called us rubbish.
Yeah.
Then only the other day, the Secretary General, who happens to be your friend.
Yes. Hang on a minute. Those are serious allegations, George. Please.
She said Nzajamba. Those of us who are saying Abwezi and drama Nzajamba. But there's one thing that is also a bone of contention.
Yeah.
They are saying Nzajamba, Nzarabishi, because some banga force it's voluntary.
Yeah, because I'm glad you've said that, because I wanted us to clear something, which is, are they rubbishing the fact that they actually indeed forced parastatals to do that, or are they saying even if they did, so what? Is that what the issue is? What are they discrediting?
It's both. It's both. Those of us who are saying ndarama mugweze for mnajiro banga force atuwagula kupasa ndarama are saying because they're insisting it was voluntary. They didn't force anybody to buy a table or donate or whatever, which is not true.
So Banoma Council who don't even have drama. Okay, they just volunteered this money.
Yes.
5 million from Atlanta City Council.
I
think we should have had Anthony Kasunda sitting here.
Exactly.
Don't you?
Yeah, I think so. That's what they're saying. Maybe I'm not Anthony Kasunda, but even the CEO.
Yes.
Because it's the CEOs that are problematic. It's the CEOs that authorize these things. I don't think Anthony authorized it. It's the CEOs that authorize these things.
But he's the voice of the Blanda City Council.
Of course, he's the voice of the Blanda City Council. So maybe one of these days,
more light.
Maybe one of these days we should call him over here so he answers for the sins.
So we lay into him.
Yeah, he answers for the sins of his bosses. Yes. Yeah. So that's the bone of contention. Yeah. Is it voluntary or not voluntary? To me, I think this is no brainer. It's clear that if I'm a CEO of the parastatal and I get a request from a ruling party to say, Trini Blue Night, are you coming? I'm going to go because I have children, I have relatives, people that rely on me. If they don't give me that contract, so because of that, after all, I thought this is company money, so I'll give it.
So what you're saying is these people are backed into a corner.
Yes.
They have no choice.
Exactly.
So it's an implied.
They are bullied. They're literally bullied into donating. There's a story that sometimes they even send them. Could you check it? I'm going to say 3.5 or 2.5. Can you double whatever? And then they double. So they are literally bullied. government is powerful. There's no way ugechito company ya boma ndiye ukanire boma kuti lisalipangirezo. It can't be voluntary. Exactly. Unless you want to get fired. Unless you don't want your contract.
Putting a nail in your own coffin.
Yes. And I'm told there are certain departments kuboma amene amati munthu kauti wapanga zoti osakusangaza amango kutenga kwangu kuje komeneko. Where you do nothing apart from reading newspapers. I don't know where it is. They just put it somewhere.
That's a good one, really.
No job,
we need to investigate that.
Yes.
All right, now let's look at the reaction, George, because I think that is what has riled a lot of us.
Yes.
How the DPP members have reacted to this development. We've obviously seen pressure from CSOs saying that, look, at the end of the day, this was unconstitutional. Very recently, we heard Malawi Law Society also add their weight to this debate.
Yes.
But having said that, we've still had these Heather Wikintaba, who's the vice president for the center, first of all saying it was rubbish, and then Griselda Jeffrey.
Yes.
Of course, she's not one to shy away from controversy, so hardly a surprise. But even then, really what gives them such leverage to be able to stand there and say such things? Obviously, they must have the backing of their leader.
Of course. It's disrespect. It's disrespect. For them to be calling Malawians rubbish or Malawians ajamba is disrespect. But what I can tell you is that it permeates the whole system.
Yeah.
There's that sense of entitlement in DPP, of saying,
which we're going to get to.
If it now in Chisango. Now in Chisango 2014, therefore, Zos and Zatu. So, a president, Abide Kumpoto, is answering about nepotism. He says those people that say my government is nepotistic, they are stupid. So, you have stupid, you have rubbish, you have Zajamba. And these are Malawians there.
And then you forget the other one. Remember, not so long ago, we were told to write our stories in hell.
Yes, exactly. There was this big rally. It was supposed to be a homecoming rally for DPP in the Central Region, at Masinta Ground, where the former Secretary General of the party, Mr. Francis Bebo, said
seems to be in the blood.
Yes, said Manyoza president.
I think so.
Okay.
I think it was implied.
Yes. How did you know we will go to hell? Musamani na president. No, stinga na president because our president Oka na president too. So there's a bit of there's too much disrespect for us Malawians in the DPP, and it permeates through the whole system.
There's
a feeling of entitlement. Yes.
We're going to get to the idea of entitlement. But don't you think, in a lot of ways, this is also because we've never made a very clear distinction or a concerted effort to distinguish between what is a party affair and what is in the national interest.
State interest.
Yes, exactly.
That's right.
Earlier on Breakfast Live today, I was talking to William, and we were talking about how even things like national events, you find that it's party colors that you see. And we talk about it, but it's always brushed under the carpet.
Yes.
It starts with little things like
that's why we must put a stop at this. We must behave like another civilized country where the distinction is very clear.
Regime after regime is the same thing.
And Tatopa. So we Malawians must rise and say, our is this a topesa.
That can only happen constitutionally.
Whatever way we can force it. Yes, obviously at the end of the day, it has to be in the law. There has to be some law reform. I agree with you. But it begins with us Malawians to make a change. I mean, for this country to change from single party to multi-party, it was because of the power of the people. We said we don't want this anymore. Can we try this other way? So in the same way, we Malawians must rise up and say we don't want this. We want this to stop. We want the party and the government should be separate. Because look, people think kodi inu chifani masiyezo mufuna kuti ndalamazi abweze ka chifani mufuna musiye chukuzani nchani these parastatals that we are talking about, they offer service to us. Longowater board, for example, my quick example is always Longowater board. If you look at the operation of the
fiasco that is the
fiasco, the fiasco that is Longowater board. If you look at Longowater board, they have no money. They can't even replace my pipe. In the end, as
we like to call it BB.
Yes, baby, it's a baby. It's a baby in the shell. Now, that's the most disgusting thing that can happen to a person. To a normal, to a human being. No, it's unimaginable. It's disgusting and unimaginable. You shouldn't be imagining it because it shouldn't happen to you. Shouldn't happen to me.
But I think what is even more unimaginable is the fact that for a council that would have been at the helm of something like this, these are the ones who are actually pumping out money to go towards a blue.
These are councils that can't even collect refuse.
Can I ask you this, George? In terms of these kind of developments, these kind of issues. So yes, the DPP want to hold a Blue Night.
Yes.
Who is involved in the planning? Because sometimes, we hear arguments that say, you know what, sometimes the president isn't even aware that these things are going on. He wouldn't know that his cronies are bullying parastatals into giving out money.
Well, these things haven't started today.
Yeah.
Is this not the first Blue Night? It's the party. It's the party Mabanga planning. Yes, people like those. I think they set up a committee. I think they set up a committee of people.
Maybe that's why she's saying Dizajamba.
Well, she comes from Kora. So perhaps she would know. She would know better than the rest of us.
Yeah.
But this is not Zajamba. We are just trying to reclaim our country.
Okay, the reason I say that, George, is because at the end of the day, when we talk about all these issues, corruption,
yes,
pilferage,
yes,
etc., etc.,
yes,
the issue is transparency.
Yes.
What are the processes involved in doing these things?
Yes.
Who is it that signs off on the dotted line that yes, we expect Lilongwe Water Board to give us X amount of money?
What happens?
Who should be policing?
What happens is that there's a committee, and this committee writes letters of invitations, writes requests for funding. You remember when the first legacy NGO, Beautify Malawi, was caught in some drama where it got money
involving the National AIDS Commission.
Yes, there was a letter that the media was quoting. Actually, it was Times Group. We were quoting a letter from BIM to NAC, and NAC responding and giving the money. We had those documentation. So there's a committee that handles the issue requests and then money. So you get a letter from a ruling party. Would you refuse to
No, obviously not. Obviously not. Because you're backed into a corner.
Yes.
But do you think it's time that perhaps that we had another body that policed these kind of developments? That policed these committees that organize these kind of events, checks and balances.
First of all, is
to make sure the money is acquired constitutionally.
The first point that we must do is to all agree that it is wrong. It is abuse.
I think that's not a debate.
Party funding cannot happen using impoverished parastatals or state companies that offer a service to Malawians. Because the moment you are unsacking their resources, you are also telling them musabange china chichose ifeo mlipasekaye zamapa ibiano msakabange as an example yolongoda board. So to me, it's that we Malawians must stop.
Yeah, but look, George, surely the DPP should know more than most that is the case, that it is unconstitutional. Their leader is a constitutional lawyer.
Yes,
he knows, he should know.
They are selfish. They are selfish people. Forget about the leader being good. They are selfish. So yes, you are right. We have to change the law suddenly, but for that law to change, we Malawians must rise, because it will not just happen on its own. We have to say, we are tired of this. It must stop. But since you don't want to stop, we'll demonstrate against this, or we'll go to court and demand our rights. That's what we should do.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, if you're just joining us, you're watching and indeed listening to Hot Current this week with me, Wezi Kasambala, and of course the Times Group editor-in-chief, George Kasakole. And the issue at hand is whether arrogance and impunity are reigning with relation to the DPP's response to calls from CSOs and of course other bodies, including the Malawi Law Society, for them to give back the money that they, George would call it, bullied some parastatals, including Lilongwe Water Board and indeed Blantyre Water Board, to give them for their Blue Night celebration. So we want to understand why this was the case, why the DPP think this is okay, and why they even think it's even constitutional. Yes. Now let's look at the idea of entitlement. You kept ramming that point home, George.
Yes.
You feel that the DPP have a sense of entitlement.
Yes.
You say because they won the 2014 elections,
yes,
they think that, well, they're beyond reproach.
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Because of what they're doing. Because of how they're reacting to issues.
But does winning necessarily suggest that that's it? Then that means you can run amok?
Winning an election does not mean...
Especially when it was only 36% anyway. 36% as well.
Because if you look at how they're behaving, what they're saying, calling people Zajamba or rubbish or you are stupid or this and that, it's a feeling of entitlement. Of saying, ifeyo, winasanga tifuse chintu. We are the ones governing, we have the mandate, therefore nobody should question us. When it's clear this thing is wrong, you cannot be ransacking companies that offer service to Malawians and the service is clearly bad. Instead of helping them to improve, as any responsible government will do, you are busy ransacking it for your own selfish intentions. And then dismissing us with a wave of the hand. That is not right.
But then what I think is also particularly amusing is the fact that you talked about them feeling entitled because they won the 2014 elections.
Yes.
But look, we are here also debating the idea of changing the voting system in its entirety.
Yes.
So when you think about it, you think, okay, hang on a minute, but you only won with what, 36% of the vote?
Yes.
So in essence, actually, what is the bravado for? Where does the arrogance come from?
The fact that you've just outlined about the percentages of winner or president and the fact that the majority of the people in Malawi didn't vote for him, those facts should sober you up. Should say, okay, I will because that's what the law says. We first pass the post.
And we have to follow the law.
How should we govern so that come 2019 we should have a better mandate? The mandate that we will now go boast about over 50%. They don't want to do that. They are busy angering Malayans.
So even if they had got 70% of the vote, they should just
do
what they like?
Not at all. You don't do that. It's only an irresponsible government would say, for this winner, they and that is wrong. Because at the end of the day, no matter what, no matter which ruling party is in power, this country belongs to all of us. All of us, 17 million Malayans. 17 million and 14 million. My figures are very anyway, so I think they're about to do another. No. Umaruka kukamina, wapita kumudziku, akakuchikwati, kaya kuzovuta. Ndio ukamaona azimai ana aberekera plus ena oyembekezero koma ndi amalaini kuti kutamanga so 17 million dollars all of us dziko lino ndiratu. It doesn't matter whether you belong to the ruling party DPP or you belong to MCP or PP or whatever parties kamlepo zikazina zili kuti sindikuziwa. We are all Malawians, so my voice yatu aziveka.
Someone raised an interesting point. Would Penabage, this kind of mentality is contagious.
Yes.
I think it was William who said today that, you know what, even if Barack Obama, one of the most exemplary leaders, one of the icons, when you think of leaders in the world, he said if he had to come to Malawi, I bet you he'd start doing the same things that all these leaders are doing, because there's some kind of pervasive poison in our fabric.
That's why
that makes us do these things.
That's why, because
every party, George, I can guarantee you, even the next party, not just the DPP, will come and do the same thing.
That's why, when I'm here on Hot Current Ways, I always say this country, if you believe in God, you believe in Lamakolo, you believe in science, whatever, we need to those who believe, they need to pray. Very hard. Those who believe in science, they should find a way of saying perhaps we can crone some super president, and then he comes to govern us
with the right ideology.
Because somehow this must stop. It's not helping us.
It's not the ideology. You and I say it all the time. It's also a question of ideology.
Very true. This country needs a shaker. That's what I've always said on this program. Because there's no way I'm going to know 53 years after independence we are still poor and think that you are doing things right. It means there's something you are doing fundamentally wrong. So why don't you change? The first change is with the leader. Zibona zoti anthu azidadaula kuti fewe foti tili nchipani cholamula tizitenga ndrama za kuma mabungwe ona kuti amapasa service zikwavuta nkumala na ndrama sindikufuna. Let's find another way of funding our party. Either tibweresa makadi which people buy voluntarily, not like they used to do before kuti amapanga force, or seek donations from people that agree with your ideology.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because there's also been different schools of thought. Some people think Malawi just needs somebody who's going to be a dictator. Somebody who's going to just stamp his authority, and we won't question things just like we're doing now, but in a different context.
A strong leader.
There's a fine line between a strong leader and a tyrant.
Yes, no, certainly not a tyrant, but a leader, that is strong. First of all, the leader that will have the interest of Malawi at heart.
But look at the countries where this is the case, where we have people who we think, as Malawians, we look at this guy and we think, hang on,
I know you're talking about Rwanda. Rwanda, yes.
Now, but to other parts of the world,
things are moving forward.
But he's considered a dictator.
Yes, they're saying he's a dictator. Yes.
Is that what Malawi needs? Do we want to have a dictator in our midst?
A combination, A combination. What we need is obviously a strong leader. A strong leader, not a tyrant.
That goes without saying.
Yes, not a tyrant. Not a tyrant. I'm not going to say here, I want television to say we need a tyrant in this country. I cannot. I love my freedom. But we need a strong person, a strong leader. The one that is going to roll his sleeves and move things, shake things. Of course, do it within the confines of the law. Not that he's the one that is going to gather people and say, Mwabajimanga, stadium, shoot them. No, we can't do that. You can't do that. There should be some respect of human rights.
But suddenly, Antoine, they don't know where to draw the line.
Yeah, but
some people don't know where to draw the. No, I mean, even Paul Kagame, who you're talking about, Paul Kagame has also been criticized for manhunting.
But he's not shooting people. He's not shooting people in the stadium.
No, but he may be doing it in an indirect way. In an indirect way. Remember, you know more than I do, George. That
I'm not saying Paul Kagame should come here.
No,
I'm saying we need a strong, powerful leader, the one that will do things in the interest of Malawi, not in his interest to save his political wife, but in the interest of Malawi. That's the one that.
Because when we look back, his brother, the current president's brother, the late Bingu wa Mutharika, had initially had those attributes.
Yes.
When he first came into office in 2004,
correct.
I think we all thought, hang on a minute.
Yes.
Here's the
and we gave him support.
Yes, but what happened in the end?
In the second term,
he became a little bit of a tyrant.
Disaster. Not a little bit. He was trying to be a tyrant.
Yes.
Not a little bit. He was trying to be a tyrant.
The point I'm trying to make is it's very difficult to kind of rein these kind of dictatorial tendencies in. You may be a strong leader, but somehow in our African context, it tends to get to people's heads. We see it already.
Correct.
Look, you have always been saying how the president now and again keeps going on the platform and being very, very, he's always on the offensive now, isn't he? Well, very recently, he's been on the offensive.
Yes,
Why?
We know,
Why? What is
I don't know. I don't know, and obviously I don't care because for me, he's not a strong leader.
Yeah.
So he's a strong leader. He's got many weaknesses. This country is in the right direction. So I don't care whether he's on the offensive.
But the point I'm trying to make is he suddenly feels as though he is beyond reproach. That's the point I'm trying to make.
No, but that's why we're saying it is wrong. We Malawians must stop it because the president is you cannot say I'm beyond reproach. No. Actually, he's the one that we must always reproach. Because when we see things going on wrong, we need to point them out without fear or favor. Of course, we risk being called names, being what, but it doesn't matter. You are doing your duty to your country.
It was only just here last week, George. You remember you sat here with Nicholas Dausi.
Yes.
And I vividly remember him even criticizing you for just calling him Mutharika.
Yes.
Now, it starts with little things like that. So
if
he has people around
and we need to reject it. We need to reject it to say it doesn't matter whether I call my president Mutharika. It's his name. I cannot be His Excellency, the President, Dr. I mean, what does that help me? Tell me, what does that help anybody? And even the president, what does that help him if he is called by his full long name?
Yeah.
That takes 30 seconds before you finish calling him.
What I'm trying to get at is these are all signs of the kind of regime that we are under.
Yes.
These are the people that the president is surrounded by.
Agreed.
People who lord the president.
They want to lord over us as if we are their subjects.
These are also probably the people who are signing off for parastatals to be giving them money.
I'm saying we Malawians, I agree with your point completely, and I'm saying we Malawians must reject it because it hasn't helped us. I didn't mean that good for the Timachula president, his excellent judges are Tandisa. Good now we are okay, everybody kapita midzi things are how gonna mean back, I didn't drama, they are sending their children to school. I was the good we are getting it right. But Zugenda. It means whatever we've been doing is wrong. We need to reboot the whole system to change. Is this not tendencies? Can we try this? That's why I'm saying if you believe in science, if you believe in God, this country needs a strong leader. Not a tyrant, no, but a strong one that is going to shake up things. The one that will have a vision for this country. Say, I want my people to be developed, to be well off.
We're going to take a short break very shortly, George, but I wanted to ask you this. I know you're very clearly, very passionate about this issue, particularly in relation to the DPP.
Yes.
You obviously don't mince words when it comes to the DPP.
Yes.
And their subpar or substandard performance.
Yes.
But I want to ask you this, George. We've had other regimes, right?
Yes,
For example, a very, very good example is the UDF, right?
Yes.
UDF came into power in 1994. First
that's right.
democratically elected party to come in after multi-party elections.
Yes.
However, a lot of people consider those the lost years.
Yes.
The 10 years that we had UDF in office.
I know.
Were you that passionate about how poorly the UDF was running this country as you
I've always been passionate about this.
As the DPP.
Since you are putting me on the spotlight, since you have said I'm always passionate about this country.
You think I'm putting you on the spot?
Yes, you're putting me on the spot.
I'm
always
just
passionate.
being honest.
I'm always passionate about this country. This country has been going to wrong direction. So I'm not here.
But those were the worst years of my life for a lot of people.
Yes.
Were you that vocal
Certainly I was excited like any other Malawian that we are moving on from one party system to the multi-party system. Very passionate ways. Very passionate. By that time we TV. So I don't know what you're talking about when you say
you were still a journalist.
Yes, but yeah, I was very passionate, certainly. Very passionate. The same passion.
Okay, I'm just trying to put things into context. The way the DPP is running the country now, this is just for argument's sake, because we have to contextualize things. And the way, let's say UDF, we had freedom, and I agree, we were all happy because we heralded democracy. But for a lot of people, they feel actually in terms of economic development, that's where we took a nosedive. Were we that passionate about what was going on then?
Yes, I mean, maybe we weren't. Maybe we weren't. Suddenly, maybe not as passionate as we are now. But
what was more detrimental to this country? What the DPP are doing now?
But suddenly.
Or economic decisions?
Let me conclude this way.
Yeah.
We Malawians, forget about the past, forget about what. It must be in our DNA to say, when things are wrong, we should be passionate to change them. It must not even depend which party is in power or which party is not in power. We have to be passionate about this country. That when things are going wrong, we must point them out so that we change. That's the basic point that I can say. Certainly, whether we are passionate, I'm not sure about that. But we must be passionate.
Okay.
We must.
Because I want to put to bed the assertions that perhaps we just love to attack the DPP.
Not at all.
That's the point I'm getting
Not
at.
at all.
This is not a personal vendetta.
Not at all.
That there have been other regimes who've obviously performed even more abysmally.
The only difference is that now they are them in the driving seat. So the reason why we are on them is because they are them. At this moment, they are the ones that have the power to change things. If they listen to what we're saying, then they should change. Because UDF is gone, MCP is gone. They were in power 30 years. Even if we talk hard about what they were doing, it won't make a difference. But if we talk hard about what DP is doing, it will make a difference today, tomorrow.
All right.
Yes.
So we're going to take a short break and we'll come back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching and indeed listening to Hot Current this week with me, Wezi Kasambala, and of course, George Kasagola. But we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Hot Current on Times TV and indeed Times Radio, if you're listening to us as well. I'm Wezi Kasambala, and today we are talking about whether arrogance and impunity will reign in this country in relation to the DPP's approach at how they handle matters, particularly how they handled the issue where they used money which was given to them, or they like to say donated to them, from certain parastatals, including Blantyre Water Board, Lilongwe Water Board, for their Blue Night celebrations. But of course, when we then took them to task as the media, as CSOs, to say, hang on, this was unconstitutional, you shouldn't be doing this, we got a lot of backlash. We had the vice president for the center, Dr. Heatherwick Ntaba, saying this was all rubbish and nobody's actually forced to do this. But then we also had, of course, the one who's never shy of confrontation and indeed controversy, Griselda Jeffrey, the Secretary General of the party, saying, isn't it Zajamba? So I guess we're all high on something, according to Griselda Jeffrey. Now, George and I, George Kasagola, the Times Group editor-in-chief, are trying to get to the bottom of the matter. Why is it we've allowed this kind of flippant approach at dealing with very, very serious issues, but also this sense of entitlement that George has been alluding to throughout the program before we went to break? Now we want to talk about the issue of us being garbage. George is asking the question, are Malawians garbage? Are we high on something?
We're high on you.
As Griselda might want us to believe.
I'm aware that Griselda Jeffrey comes from Nkota, where this Chamba is.
Those are very serious allegations.
The police are very active in that part of the country, catching these people that are trafficking this Chamba, trying to bring it to Lilongwe, trying to bring it to Blantyre or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're catching them all the time. But certainly Malawians are not high on that stuff. Malawians are not high on that stuff.
As you would have us believe.
Yeah, as you have us believe. Or we are rubbish, as Dr. Ntaba is saying. That's not true. The truth of the matter is that the idea of having an opinion and imparting it on somebody is granted in the Constitution. You're fond of talking about the Constitution.
Yes,
it is there. Freedom of expression is our birthright. It is there. So we should not keep quiet. Whether they call us rubbish, whether they call us ajamba, jamba jaguizondi. If we know what is masula jamba, so we don't smoke jamba. What we are sure
unless,
about,
of course, it becomes legalized.
Yes, it becomes legalized. What we are sure about is that we have this right to talk about our government.
Yeah. I must admit, George, before you go into further detail about this, I think the very fact that anybody who is in a privileged position like the DPP, and by privileged I mean the fact that we, the electorate, put them there.
Yes.
The fact that they can sit on a pedestal and actually suggest that what we are saying, by trying to hold them to account, is ludicrous, is nuts, and is stupid.
We are
is highly offensive to the intelligence of Malawians.
It
takes us for granted in a lot of ways.
Yes, certainly.
The poor Malawians who voted for them.
Yes, certainly. And the Malawians should be asking themselves whether we deserve such kind of leaders who can instead of understanding our point.
Those 36% who went to the polls to put them there, they must be feeling rather silly right now.
I mean, they should feel angry. Yeah. If they should feel angry because it's a right thing to do. It is the right thing. Why don't they don't want to get our point of view that ransacking a parastatal like Ilongota board, it is bad because at the end of the day, the moment you do that, you are then responsible for pumping bad things into people's home.
Yeah.
Because the water board is failing to do its job. Why can't they accept that? It's a right thing. It's a good thing for everybody. Why are they sticking to some selfish thing? But if you enjoy caviar, like you are saying, champagne, magas, forget about the Malawians in their jamba. That's not right.
What I also find interesting, George, it's obvious that clearly these are terrible way of them dealing with these issues. But what I also find interesting is the president himself's silence on this matter. He hasn't said very much. Clearly, he's the leader of the party.
No.
The Blue Night was presumably presided over by him, of course, and his wife. They must have danced.
It was.
They must have had the first dance.
They did.
With their lovely dancing shoes.
They did.
But he's not said a thing with regards to this issue.
Because it's not a game changer. The president, I'm sorry, some when I say these things, some people think I'm being disrespectful, but it's the truth. It's not a game changer. It takes courage to.
Well, that's not really offensive, though.
It's not offensive.
It's just
it takes courage. It takes courage and determination for a leader to change a culture. You have said yourself, it's something that is not just DBB.
No.
Yes. Yes. Then
and we've allowed it to happen.
Yes. Then there should be someone to say, ineyo ndavakulira kwa Malawi. Malawi akufuna service yabu from these state companies, from these parastatals that offer them a service. And the moment I use my power, or the people that surround me, they use that power. We are actually damaging them. Let's change things. Let's reform. State house. Why would I have 5 houses? Malawi, 5 houses, just me and my wife, 5 houses.
Also, the question is, can we even afford to do that?
Exactly.
We're a poor country. So whether it's 2 of you or not, it's the practicality of it. That's the issue.
This other day, they were discussing budget. I always give this example because it's the most laughable thing that I've ever heard. They were discussing the budget. You said house. I would want 2 million. Your tira malua. Now that's taxpayers' money. That money can even fund a hospital. Why this hospital? Forget about the clinic. That's just a lot. They want to use that money. House. Why don't you just have one house for the president?
And it also puts things into perspective because here we are spending 22 million.
Yes.
And yet poor Area 18 Ilongo residents don't have any water at all. Because the last water they had was contaminated with feces.
Yes. So you ask me, why is the president not stopping these things? No, because this president is not a game changer. He was not born for that.
Yeah.
That's why we Malawians must pray that one day agatanchiro yake for mandate. So agatamandate yake, maybe God will give us a shaker, a game changer.
Now let's talk about this constitutional entitled opinion that you've talked about.
Yes.
And that you say every Malawian has.
Yes.
We all have that constitutional opinion. But there's a very foul or offensive saying about opinions.
Yes.
Everyone has
one. Yes,
doesn't necessarily mean it carries any weight.
Yes.
In this case, our opinions of any real value. Are we making a difference? All the noise we're making. You and I sit here week after week talking about different issues. CSOs are putting so much pressure, and yet nothing is changing.
We have to fight.
Is there a point to this?
We have to fight on ways. We will not come here and say because they're not listening, then we're going to give up. No, we cannot do that because the stakes are just too high.
Yeah.
We are talking about ourselves. The quality of life that we are leading in this country. It's not a good quality of life. What about our children, the future of our children? When we go, we must leave a country that is better than the way we found it. We can only do that by pointing out at wrong things, not at right things, wrong things. The right thing, the small right thing that we are doing, let us continue. But the main wrong thing that we are doing, we are saying we should stop them. And this is one of the wrong things that we are doing. We are being unfair to ourselves.
Do you think that now that we've had more institutions getting involved, the CSOs have actually come together now, they're drawing in more and more other institutions, etc., etc.
Yes.
Malawi Law Society have clearly condemned this and
Yes.
said this is out of order,
Yes.
it was unconstitutional, it
Yes.
shouldn't have happened. Is this going to apply enough pressure on the DPP to actually take a step back, reflect and think, you know what, we were wrong?
I hope so. I really hope
Are
so.
we dealing with the kind of DPP that is willing to accept wrongdoing, and even more so, accept giving back this money? Because actually, the fact that they're refusing to give it back is very worrying.
Yes, but you know what? They should know. No government stays in government forever. That's why the constitution says every 5 years we must have an election to elect a new government. So for you to get elected, you need the goodwill of the people. Now, if people are complaining and you are disregarding it, you're just giving a chance to the opposition. I wish the opposition could be capitalizing on these things and say, if they should commit to Malawians. Could in a Mganisanka and in a Georgia Mganisanka. Since the Vomera kuti chipani changa chimene cha mwanisa ngacho chizatenga ndama comparasetos.
Hey, Komano Nkanimeno is very valid because you and I've said this to you before. It also starts with the nature of politics.
Yes.
In how we even get in office in the first place.
Yes.
What was our state prior to getting into office? Remember we had this debate.
Yes.
People go into power, into office.
Yes.
In the developed world, usually they already have money.
Exactly.
Whether
That's
it's,
the point.
So they have money by the time they're campaigning.
That's the point.
They have no desire
That's
to
the
have
point.
to pilfer
That's the
and
point.
to siphon money and to use Blue Night events, for example,
Yes.
to get money.
Yes.
Should we start seeing that kind of politics where people should already be comfortable? I don't know.
The power is with the people. The power is with us. Problem is
we going to power to enrich ourselves.
Yeah. So
And
the
to sustain that
power to change things, the power to choose people that will not go into government because they want to enrich themselves. As notice in how we are to it's with the people.
You're never going to say
Yes.
because you have your own.
Yes.
You have lobbyists behind you.
So all those things, it's the movement of the people that can stop it. It's the movement of the people saying we don't want this. Izizi zatikola zatikwana zatitopesa kuti chipani chose chikabwera mboma chimangofuna chizilemeretse chimangofuna chizopseza anthu okira chino mboma kuti azichipasa ndalama nkumaseweretsa nkumamwera mwa usiku kapena umatani umavina usiku ransacking parastatos. We don't want that. The power is with the people. The problem is we don't realize the power that we have. We think the president has power. We think the ministers have power. We have the people. All the things to change there should be a movement that is going to say no, enough is enough. And I think pointing at things like this, it's the beginning. Let's continue prodding, questioning, demanding accountability.
Movement, because yes, that's the operative word, a movement.
Yes.
Are we seeing any movement? I wouldn't where is the movement in terms of action?
I wouldn't say the movement is strong. I don't think I can come here and say, oh, movement movement at least I'm appealing to the people kuti ngati zinthu zizikhalira bwino tione kuti nzola kwika zikuti panga affect our quality of life, then it is up to us to change them. We have to find a good legal way of changing them.
Yes. You've said a good legal way.
The ways are going to court. That's one way of advocacy of changing things. The CEOs are going to court.
You know what, George?
Yes.
Some believe that actually it's the courts who have a lot of power in this country.
No,
Do you think? Yeah, I was going to say that. Do you think the courts in this case are actually going to go up against the president?
Not necessarily. Really? Why not? I mean, we have seen courts ruling against the president. Remember the court case in Zuzu, where the CEOs went to court to say we don't want Dr. Rajaponda to be minister while he's under investigation, and they got a positive response from the court. The court says yes. Again, that court case clarified things about cabinet. Yes.
So do you think we could see a repeat of that in this case?
Yes. I mean, it depends on how the CEOs are going to argue their case, but they must try. Because the fact that they are doing it, we'll talk about it. Never make a mistake. Wise, they get to hear these things.
What if, just for argument's sake, they do go to court and their argument is flawed because you have these parastatals backing the DPP's argument that actually we did this willingly, then that means that case is dead. That's it. There's nothing.
Not necessarily.
If under duress they end up saying, well, actually we did this of our own volition.
Why don't
we weren't forced to do this?
Why don't we wait for the court case? Let's wait for the court case. Let's wait for the court case. If that's what that will be the view of the judge, we will see. But for me, I'm glad that somebody is taking the matter up. Somebody is pushing things to say, no, this is not right. And instead of just talking on Facebook, we have to do something about it.
Interestingly enough.
So I wouldn't second guess what the court will say here on television. All I will do is feel good that at least, no matter how small it is, some people are saying we cannot just talk on Facebook or talk on the television like we are doing now, but we have got to take it. Let's test it.
We're running out of time, but interesting you should say that, George, because just today we had it in the paper that the president is not happy with how courts are discharging injunctions, etc., etc. I don't think it's a coincidence that has just come about. The president himself is saying they are basically hampering legitimate
the opinion of the president,
and that's coming from the president.
The opinion of the president doesn't matter. We know where it is coming from. This country.
Hang on a minute. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Our president's opinion doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. The reason it doesn't matter is because he can't go and sit on the bench in court. This country, there's proper separation of powers. So whether he says
his opinion is irrelevant.
It is irrelevant. Yes, it's irrelevant. And he's not the first to make those opinions. Bingu, his brother, he did not just make those opinions. He even enacted a law that said for anybody to get an injunction against government, then government must be represented. So opinions about presidency, we have heard them. No president likes the courts.
So, but no, after he's just said that, remember he said that when he was swearing in the new High Court judges.
There has been attempts, there have been attempts even to impeach judges in this country.
Yes. But don't you feel that now that he's said that, he's made those remarks, it's that these judges will feel compelled and kind of threatened in
not at all.
To actually do anything.
Others have tried it before. The judges never felt threatened.
All right.
They tried it before. I can tell you they tried it before. The UDF government even wanted to impeach judges. Judge Bangulu and he let Judge Chimasula Piri and even Judge Anagari Chipeta. They even took them to parliament for impeachment process to start.
Okay.
It did go in a way. So presidents have spoken against judges in this country. Their opinions don't matter. They're irrelevant. In this country, what we have is separation of powers between the three arms of government.
And the injunction will rule.
Yes. If somebody feels done by a government that is irresponsible and unjust, they have a right to go to court and complain, and they should get the injunction.
All right, George. Let's leave it there. Conclude very quickly. How would you want us to actually resolve this issue once and for all?
As citizens, first of all, it starts with us citizens. We must endeavor. We must endeavor to force government to do what is right. There are so many options open to us. There are protests, obviously. They are grounded in the constitution. Then there's the court case that the CSAs have decided to take. But we as Malawians, we must not sit back and see things go wrong and then because somebody is calling us rubbish or ajamba or stupid. No, we should never give in to intimidation, to bullying, because that's bullying us. They want to bully us into submission. We should never allow that.
So arrogance and impunity must fall.
Must fall. Yes, arrogance and impunity must fall. That's a good
arrogance and impunity must fall.
That's
High five, George. High five. Hi, George. All right, that is where we're going to have to leave Hot Current for today with me, Wezi Kasambala. But remember, you can also catch us on YouTube channel Times Media Group, as well as on Facebook on Times 360 Malawi. But of course, you can catch this program. It will be airing, of course, throughout the week on TV, and will also be broadcasting as well on Times Radio. But I'm afraid, from me, Wezi Kasambala, until next week, we hope you've enjoyed this week's edition of Hot Current. Till next time, bye-bye.